That was a difficult game to watch. I cringed multiple times, kind of bent sideways, hoped the kick went left or right. But the Texas Longhorns win 16-13. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Rod Babers and Brian Robeson, two lifetime Longhorns. This is the On Texas Football postgame report, brought to you by our friends over at Flight by Yingling. Guys, 16-13 is not what the doctor ordered. We thought that we wanted to see improvement week over week. We did not. The offense regressed. Maybe the defense improved. I don't know. Hard to tell. They only gave up 13 points, including a fourth down stand inside the 1 yard line in overtime. But look, this was a tough win for the Longhorns. One that's going to have a lot of questions surrounding it, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. Rod Babers, what were your initial thoughts?
This team has to win ugly because, it's some parts of this team aren't pretty. We're past the halfway point, so we know what they are. And unfortunately, offensively, they're inconsistent and they have no identity. We have no idea kind of what we're going to get from week to week. Will the real Texas offense please stand up? Will the real Texas stand up? I actually at times don't recognize the team. Now, there are some times when they play complimentary football and it looks great. That was part of the touchdown in this game, right? It's complimentary football. You got a sack on defense. You got a great punt return by Niblett, and then boom, offense puts it in. Like, that's what this team needs to learn how to do more of. But offensively, defensively, it's hard for me to criticize the defense. Next night, we can be nitpicky. We can get into it, especially, Brian, we can dive into what the defense may have given up, especially late, but they're not getting a lot of help from the offense. Complimentary football, in my opinion.
Brian, what do you think, bud? What did you think overall?
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything Rod said. I think when you look at it, the offense was just very subpar today, really at all levels, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I thought the run game was lacking. I thought Arch missed some throws. I thought the wide receivers weren't getting open. Even there towards the end, you saw Ryan Wingo just kind of, just ran 10 yards and stopped. And then, you look at the offensive line, still has woes, whether it becomes being disciplined or actually picking up blitzes or blocking in general. So that's the offense. You go to the defense, I thought they played a bend but don't break method. And some of that is because the up front, I still feel like they got bullied a little bit up front a little bit tonight, especially on first down. And I thought the linebackers played out of their freaking mind tonight. And I thought the DBs played really well. So, considering they had the ball for almost 40 minutes of total game clock, I thought the defense played pretty well. And then, if there's one shining light of this Texas football team tonight, I think it was the special teams. I think when you look at what they were able to do in the punt return game, you look at what the punter was able to do, and we'll dive more into that later. If the offense comes along, this game's not as close as it is.
Or if they jump on a fumble or two.
That too.
It looked like Anthony Hill's going to have a scoop and score. But to add to that special teams discussion, hats off to Mason Shipley as well. He hit one long field goal, then two clutch ones, one with a minute left in the game, another one in overtime. Like you said, Brian, I think special teams won this game for Texas. No doubt about it. Two long punt returns for Ryan Niblett set up Texas's 10 of 13 points, I guess, in the regular session. All right, we got a lot of stuff to go over, including, what was Sark thinking with the game down to less than a minute? What kind of play calling was this? I'm not one of those guys to sit here and critique Sark play calling. I can't do that. Yeah, but I know you guys can, so we'll get to that as well. First, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Flight's the next generation of light beer with only 95 calories. It's an easy drinking upscale light beer designed to elevate your taste buds with just 2.6 carbs per serving. Flight's an easy to drink beer with a clean, crisp taste. try Flight from Yingling. Thanks to the fine folks at Flight and our friends at Faust Distributing. Matt, I'm talking to you, our producer. Will you do us a favor, please, and put up the stat sheet for this game? Because I tell you what, let's look at this Texas offense. The last time, and I'm going to start with this, the last time Texas went for under 200 yards in a football game was also the last time a offensive coordinator the very next day got fired. That was Sean Watson by Charlie Strong. That's how little Texas moved the ball against the Kentucky Wildcats. That's amazing when you consider they were giving up 400-plus yards per game, I believe, in conference. Brian, you mentioned offensive line woes. You mentioned Arch Manning having problems. Is some of that also, in y'all's opinion, play calling right now, or is nothing you call just going right? What do y'all think?
Well, I think I'm with you, Bobby. I don't like to nitpick Sark's play calling. I think he's earned the right through his time as an offense coordinator and everything to be highly regarded as a great play caller. But our job here is to be analytical, right?
Yep.
So I don't like how the game started, if I'm being totally honest with you. I don't like the very first third down call. You try a trick play. I don't think that's the time for it. I think, I think there was 2 quarterback draws that were ran tonight. And I think one was a good call. I think one was a bad call. They ran the quarterback draw on 3rd and 8. I think it was like 8.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I don't understand that call. But yet then you have the one just the very next series they ran on 1st down. I think that's a great call. Like, it's one of those deals where I think the calls are very inconsistent. I think me personally, I don't have a problem with the play calls. I have more of a problem with the timing of the play call. And that means everything when you're looking at a ball game, especially in a crucial ball game like this that comes down to an overtime ball game, because those play calls can mean the difference between winning and losing. And so for me, that's what it boils down to. Is it's not necessarily the calls that he is making. It's the timing of those calls of when they're being made that I think I have the issue with.
Rod, what do you think? What do you think on this?
It's crazy because I agree with him, because one of the problems, or at least one of the plays I have a problem with, was late in the game, the DeAndre Moore completion for like 9 yards, where he's a target in motion, so he goes in motion across the formation late in the game, and you're trying to milk the clock here. I mean, you want to milk the clock as much as possible, and yet it's a play designed to get you out of bounds. He's running toward the sideline, a completion while he's running toward the sideline, and you can argue DeAndre Moore probably, a veteran player, should know the situation, and maybe he probably should have stopped and failed, so he would have fallen inbounds, and you could have milked the clock more. But it was even they mentioned it on the broadcast. It was like, that's curious.
Yeah.
Run a play to stop the clock there, and by the way, it came back to haunt them. That 7 seconds you left them was more than enough time, and they needed. You actually did hurt your defense in that regard. So, like I said, I think Brian's right on the money there. It's like the timing of that one. It's a beautiful play design. I mean, it was amazing. Had the target to motion, and it was beautiful. You got, Arch kind of rolling out. It was a great play design, and yet the timing of it seemed interesting at best, and I think, bad and almost harmful at worst, because that play, essentially, guys, that's the play that left them 57 seconds. That's the play. If not for that play, they have 30-something seconds, which you say, it's a huge deal, big deal.
Yeah, no, that game would have been, he would have been kicking to win the game with 17 seconds left or something like that, theoretically. Or they would have gotten a first down on the next play. You never know.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is Kentucky should have never gotten the ball back. I think that was one of the first times I've seen Sark personally make a major mistake near the end of the game. And this is a team that hasn't made many of those major mistakes late in the last 3 years. That was a major snafu that very well could have cost Texas this game.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I'll say this, Bobby. I mean, at what point, we're looking at the play calling, but at what point is Stark at a loss?
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, I mean, you're not able to run the ball. Arch misses some of the throws that are there. The wide receivers aren't getting open. At what point do you panic and you just say, dude, I got to make the one call that I know I can get a guy open? I mean, you look at it, at what point are we looking at Sark kind of, I'm not saying necessarily like in the words of giving up, but at what point do you have like maybe only 4 calls that you feel comfortable that you can get the ball into somebody's hands?
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt about that.
That's fair.
I look, we can argue about it a bunch. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but let's go down the list. Total yards for Texas, 179 compared to 395, almost 400 total yards. But like Brian said, a bend but don't break defense. Even the Kentucky passer, really gutty performance for him, I thought. Played well in and outside the pocket, 31 of 39 for 258. Good stuff. He led the team in rushing as well, even with the sack yardage, by the way.
The scramble drill hurt Texas today. I've talked about how it helps Texas because Arch is good at the scramble drill. Y'all saw it on the other side. Scramble drill is a mofo, man. It's tough to stop.
Yeah, and Colin Simmons vacated his rush lane on the touchdown.
Yeah,
and gave that up, I thought. But look, you look at all these stats. Texas had a total of 8 first downs.
That's crazy.
And won the football game. I've never seen a stat where a team with 8 first downs won a football game. The other team had 26 first downs. How did Texas win this football game?
Ugly.
Ugly.
Literally.
They
won it ugly.
I feel like I can answer that question for you.
Go for it, please.
Are we ready to talk about special teams?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can. Field position. Which, by the way,
have nothing good to
by the way, it's ugly because nobody wants to talk about special teams, guys. All right, nobody wants to talk about how great nobody brags about how great their special teams are from week to week. Just so you know. All right, we don't even know who the hell the best special teams are in the country. Anybody want to talk about that? Anybody want to rank the top 10? Nobody knows who they are. They help you win games, but nobody talks about that. Offense and defense, right? That's what makes our headlines. So when you're winning with special teams, which Texas is, that's winning ugly. That's ugly.
Yep.
Anybody really talking about that? Ain't sexy, guys. That ain't sexy. That ain't sexy.
Yep. And I'll talk about 3 things right here. Let's start with Mason Shipley. All right, you got a guy that went 3 for 3 with a 53-yarder tonight. That was the difference in the ball game because their field goal kicker missed one early in the ball game. Okay, so you got that. Now let's move on to Ryan Niblett. We had how many yards of total offense? 179. Ryan Niblett himself had 88 return yards. So almost half of the yardage that we got on offense, you could probably go ahead and say that's because of Ryan Niblett.
Yeah.
Right? All right. And then third thing, all right, you look at Jack Bowmeister. I think that's how you say his name.
Yes.
He had 8 punts tonight, 42-yard average, 336 yards total punt. That's not the stat. That's not the stat. He had 6 punts inside the 20-yard line, fellas. 6 punts inside the 20-yard line. You talk about the difference in a ball game and winning 16-13 in overtime, that's your difference. That's how you win a ball game with 8 first downs to 26 first downs.
179 yards of total offense.
They call it hidden yardage for a reason. But Brian's right. There's a lot of hidden yardage in there. What he's talking about.
He made Sark in the offense made the Kentucky Wildcats look like the '85 Chicago Bears. Ryan
Niblett out there looking like Devin Hester from the modern Chicago
Bears. Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're going to get to questions, get to some other points about this game, some super chats. KD35, win or not, I'm impressed. Yes, D, the huge puke on the O. I want to ask y'all this. Did y'all see that 4th down stop coming? That once they got that big play, they said that 21 yards was the biggest play of the game for Kentucky. So it is bend but don't break, Brian, to your point.
Yep.
But, man, can you believe they actually got in there and stop them inside the 5 after they'd been on the field 40 minutes of that football game. That showed a lot of intestinal fortitude on the defense, and good play calling by PK in that scenario inside the 5 like that.
Yeah, no, he got a great. I thought after they got that call, there was a great play call too by Kentucky. They went empty and they had the numbers and the leverage on Texas on that play. But I thought it was a mistake by Stoops to go for it. I thought you had been stopping them defensively. I thought you kind of roll with your defense and kind of let it play out. But I get it. Why not just roll the dice? But I thought momentum and the night was on his side pretty much. I thought everything was going Kentucky's way. And if you just continue to let the game play out, it probably would have worked in their favor. But he decided to roll the dice.
Again, I think you do a lot of crazy things when you haven't won an SEC game since last year. I think that honestly was probably in the forefront of his mind. He's thinking, I've got to find a way to win this game. And I agree with you. I think you just kick the field goal there. Obviously that's you got to put your pride to the side and just say, hey, I understand it's 1 yard, but we got to roll with it. We've had 3 plays to get 2 yards and we ain't got it yet. So. But defensively with that stand, man, I mean, dude, I tell you, that defensive line stands up when they need to stand up. When you look at a lot of the game, they got drove off the ball a lot like the Florida game. And I think when you look at it, the difference is I feel like the Florida game, they got dominated with a scheme. I feel like tonight, Kentucky's offensive lineman said, we're sticking on our blocks on defensive linemen and we are not coming off, which in turn freed up guys like Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill had a monster game. But if you look at it, there was a few times the defensive line was getting pushed 4, 5, 6 yards back, and Anthony Hill just literally just ran right by him and just went and made the tackle because their offensive linemen had already made their minds up that they were not coming off blocks. And you know what? I mean, it worked out for Kentucky as far as them being able to move the ball up and down the field, eat up play clock, but it did not allow them to score touchdowns. And that's the major issue there, because when the defensive line understood when they needed to bow up, they were able to bow up.
Yeah, big play. I think the book is out on Texas though a little bit. They'll let you nickel and dime them. They will. PK will let you do that. I was not happy with the end of half defense by Texas.
Yeah,
gave up the field goal there. Maybe a little too much of a prevent defense. This is the final stat line for the defense. Anthony Hill with 12 tackles, Michael Taft with 10, Jelani McDonald with 9, Jalen Gilbo 6. Where's Colin Simmons in this thing? Because he had 3 sacks on the night?
Yep.
Not bad. Yep. 5 Texans overall. Manny Muhammad and Trey Moore also had one. I thought Trey Moore may have had a safety there. I tried to rewind it and see where the ball was when he made contact to see what forward progress is, but I do believe he was a little bit outside the end zone. Long story short, the linebackers did come to play, particularly Anthony Hill. They just didn't get on fumbles. They caused 4 fumbles.
Yeah.
Get on them. I mean, that's a lot for the defense, but coming up big in the overtime was huge. All right, Desert Stros agrees with you guys. Helmet sticker for special teams, no doubt. Buddy, big pal, big chief guy. When every metric says you will lose and you still win, that's impressive.
It is
depressing, but impressive.
Yeah,
depressingly impressive.
Yeah, that's a great description of it. He's right.
Yeah.
Nobody's on here. Everybody's happy that they're 5-2. Nobody's throwing a party. Maybe Steve Sarkisian is. Maybe DeAndre Moore for going out of bounds.
It's a Coyote Ugly win. Coyote Ugly. I would not take this win out to eat in public. I would not take her to the movies. All right. we only meet late nights. This kind of win. I want nobody to see me with her. Ugly win. Yes, I'll take it though.
All right. J-Bo says Jelani McDonald was the unsung hero. We just went through his stats. Niblett was the actual hero. Look, if I'm giving a game ball, I'm giving it to Niblett, and if the second one might go to Mason Shipley for me.
Thanks, bro.
I think Shipley was nails on a big 54-yarder. Was that right? Can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the other two when they had to have them, and he did. There was not the first one just barely snuck in. The last two were dead middle.
Yep.
So that was big time. Meet me at the back stairs in Chester kind of win. What does that mean, Marcus Smart? Rod, what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't need your teammates to see her. You don't need anybody to see her. You know, you sneak her in through the back stairs and sneak her out through the back. That way, nobody knows anything. Nobody knows. All right, I've had those, Morgan. I'm with you.
Bro, I can't right now.
That's because Brian never messed around with a 6 or a 5. You know what I mean? Hey, I had them 5s up in Justin, man. It was all good, but not in the daytime.
All right. Hustle.
Oh my goodness.
Physical, and Stark will get fired before he benches Arch, even for a series or two. We need to see if it's Arch or not. Was that bad? What was he? 12 of 27 today? Is that correct?
Let's see. Yeah, 12 of 27, 132.
And he missed some guys. There were about, I can think of 3 right now, just at the top of the head that guys were open. In the pocket, there was protection and he just kind of missed guys. And there was sometimes, I mean, that was just guys were in his face. I mean, they brought pressure. They had simulated pressures. I thought it was a really good defensive game plan by Kentucky too. I saw some 3 high thrown in there. You know, just like we talk about kind of the book is out on, the Texas defense this year. I think the book is out kind of on, on Sark a little bit too. And at least the things you need to throw at the offensive line, the things you need to put into your game plan to at least give them trouble. And yeah, Arch I think he missed some throws, but that was also some pressure. And I will say this, Sark, and I've been talking about this for a while. There are some cheat codes that he doesn't use enough of. That I think, like even the last play that I criticized, right? The target to motion. That's why I got 9 yards, because it was a target to motion. That you got that target to bunch on that big 3rd down conversion for them. Yeah. I mean, I haven't tracked how many of them in this game, but I think there are some cheat codes that Sark just doesn't use a lot of, and maybe he thinks that with Archie doesn't need them or shouldn't use as many of them. I have no idea, but at this point, whatever works, I would, if I'm Sark, I would be overly investing in those concepts, like whatever's worked at this point. You're past the halfway point. Like you're not going to get really good at something now that you haven't been good at before. I don't know where that's coming from. That's why the outside zone, that's their money run concept now, especially without CJ Baxter. And if you want to stop Texas, you better stop the outside zone. The reason Brent Venables get whipped by Sark all the time, because he can't stop the outside zone back-to-back years. The number one concept you got to stop if you want to play Texas and beat them is the outside zone. You stop that, and then everything else starts. It starts a negative landslide for Texas. Then the screen game doesn't work as well. And then you become predictable in a lot of your downs. Then you get behind the chains because Texas has a lot of penalties and negative play, all that stuff. And that's what they kind of did too. They stopped the outside zone. Like Texas doesn't go to have another run concept they're really good at, guys.
Not yet.
Other than Art scrambling, by the way.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I think even add to what you're saying, Rod, is like, I've been saying it for the last few weeks now. Is like, where's the offense we saw with Quinn? Like, where's that offense? That quick slants, crossers, everything coming quick. Like, let's get the ball. Where is it at? That Quinn offense we saw when Alabama came to Austin.
Yeah.
When they started that first quarter, I mean, it was like, it wasn't. We ain't gonna hold. Quinn, you gonna get the ball out in like 0.3 seconds, like it show all over the place. Where is that at? That's what I'm waiting to see, because you've got to find a way to get Arch some confidence, right? I don't even, and I'll even go to this point. I don't see the same confidence in Arch this year that we saw last year. I don't see the jumping around, the celebrating with the teammates, the smile on your face, the I'm the big dog type deal. I don't see that confidence right now. And people could say what they want about the whole Sam Houston deal, but I want to see that at Arch because that was starting to be the point where Arch was starting to become who he was the year before. And then as quickly as we saw it is as quick as it went away. You know, you as a quarterback of a big program like this have to have that confidence. If you don't have that confidence, every little thing is going to eat away at you. And that's what I would be trying to do if I was starting. Those plays like you're talking about, Rod, those are the ones. Like, let's get some quick crossers. Let's get the ball out. I don't care if your average throw is 5 yards. I don't care. Because if we throw enough 5-yarders, eventually a 20-yarder is going to open up. A 30-yarder is going to open up. And next thing you know, you're freaking 25 of 28 and you've got 255 yards and everything looks great.
It felt to me, I wanted to get y'all's opinion on this. It felt to me that the game plan that Sark used in the second quarter and third quarter and fourth quarter of OU was not utilized tonight.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's the bottom line. And so it's almost, and I don't want to use the term arrogant by Sark from a play calling perspective, but it almost felt like, okay, I only needed to do that for OU. I can. This is Kentucky. I'm gonna try to do it the other way.
Yep.
And frankly, I mean, this felt more like UTEP than it did Sam Houston or Kentucky or OU, right? We all agree with that. This looked more like Ohio State at times. At some points. I think they moved a little bit. The flea flicker was a little early. That was a little
that was cringeworthy. I'm with Brian. That was cringeworthy that early. It was like
yeah, you don't need to pull it out that early before you even know. He did the fake pass to he basically did a pass, a stop and go. I think it was to DeAndre Moore or Emmett Mosley at one point, where they faked it to Ryan Wingo, and Ryan Wingo jumps up in the air.
Oh, it was. I think it was injuries. I remember
injuries.
Yes,
yeah,
it was like the little stock block and go concept, and he ends up getting sacked, right?
Yes.
Because you know why? Because there are predetermined reads in Sark's offense, in my opinion. And when that predetermined read goes away in that play concept, Arch is like, I don't know what the hell to do. That guy was supposed to be open. He was supposed to be open, but he's not open. I think that was one of those predetermined reads. He's like, I got to eat it. So it's my opinion. It's my opinion.
Add to that,
and I agree. I've said that for the last 2 years, Rod. I've said that for the last 2 years with Quinn. Is I feel like there's certain plays that it does not matter whether the guy's open or not. He's throwing it like that guy's supposed to be. I've said it. We said it on Longhorn Network. We've said it 100 times, and it's never come out. But that's my belief as well. And now I will. Hey, I will say hats off. And I think you said it earlier, right? I'll say hats off to Stoops. Like, I feel like the defensive game plan was a hell of a defensive game plan tonight. They never showed the same blitz. It was, one side. It was this side. It was down the middle. It was off the edges. It was a lot of stuff going on. And maybe some of these, we'll make a little joke here. Maybe some of these throws Arch is missing because he's still seeing double from the blitz before. I'm just saying, because there's some shots that kid is taking, and he just keeps on ticking. So one thing you cannot question right now is Arch Manning's toughness. You can't question that at all.
Yeah, you can't question that Arch was off. I mean, he missed the crosser to start to Ryan Wingo by I mean, and that could have been a 15-yard. Everybody else hits crossers against Texas, but Texas doesn't hit many crossers. That's just a feeling to myself. I mean, I'm like, everybody else can hit a crosser, but not Texas. Anyways, but that wasn't his only bad throw. The throw to Indries was wide open. It was one.
Oh yeah,
get the ball to Wingo once underneath. But look, we can bemoan all of that. The reality of it is, Texas lucky to get out of Lexington without a Kansas-like loss.
I'll take it
because it was very close to being that. Jonathan Mackey, Texas has an Arch, Wingo, Sark, and unbelievably an IQ problem on offense. Is it an IQ problem? I mean, look, I think the IQ, is maybe a little bit too much. I thought the DeAndre Moore thing was
bad.
That's as bad as I've seen at Texas, because you literally almost gave someone else the game.
Yeah. That situationally, that was bad, because that among the leaders on the team, I mean, that should be discussed like between each other. Like, hey, all right, guys, we know the situation right here, right? This is it. This is everybody's got to be focused, game mode. So I'm surprised a veteran like them, and maybe that's why Sark put it in his hands. He was a target to motion, which in my opinion usually is one of those kind of predetermined reads. Like he's the guy getting it in that situation. But like I said, I could be off. I got to go back and watch the play. But either way, it did get into the hands of a veteran, and a veteran, except Sark, the play design had him going out of bounds, but he did have time. He got 9 yards, all of it after the catch. So that was time for him to, stop, drop, set him down, open up shop. You know what I mean? And pretty much, situationally milk the clock and give Texas a better chance to win the game. And I think Texas at that point, this is the troubling thing. I think they are relaxed. I think all of them did.
Yeah.
I think coaches relaxed. I think the players relaxed. I think everybody was like, we got, after that big third down conversion, they were like, we got it. We good. We're well in field goal range. We got this thing. And I do think Sark went to the bag to a play that he knew would work and get yards. And ultimately them relaxing and not focusing on that situational moment and what needed to be done. And it was great. It was great execution, but you didn't finish the job. Finishing the job would have been staying in bounds. And it almost came back to haunt you, but it did. You got an ugly win and a lesson learned.
All right. I want to say this about that real quick. It is a lesson learned, and focus was a problem. I think it was as much on the coaches as it was the players. I'm going to put that out there. That's my take on it. D-Money can't get money. O-line was bad, but Arch looked horrible tonight. He made great progress last week, but I'm not sure what happened this week. Player execution was bad across the board. Not so much on defense. I don't think on offense. I would agree to a level. I don't think Sark set Texas up for success on offense tonight. I mean, I really, listening to you guys and what Brian said and what you said, Rod, I think that's more my issue. It's like by being and going for those big plays early, he let Kentucky kind of get into a rhythm and let them hang around. And then Arch got knocked a couple times, and he did. I mean, Brian mentioned he got an elbow to the face on that third down that he missed to Emmett Mosley. I mean, he got drilled.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a lot of that stuff. Colin A. Straight, a win is a win at the end of the day. I still haven't forgotten 2010 to 2021. Cherish every win, and we will figure it out as we go. They got figuring out to do next week in Starkville. Mississippi State losing today 23-21. How about this, guys? And this is just, I hope Texas never gets to this point. Apparently, after Florida won the game today, 23-21 over Mississippi State, their head coach was booed. Not Mississippi State for losing, but the coach that won was booed out of the stadium. Just won 23-21.
Because they want him gone?
Because they want him gone. He's supposed to be gone tomorrow, they're saying. But my point is, to Colin's point, that ain't cool, right? Give PK a raise. He continues to save Sark's butt. Brian, you mentioned early on about this. What did you see from Colin Simmons and the edge play tonight? Because they did get after the quarterback pretty hard, and that's how they were getting off the field, were negative plays more than anything.
Well, I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, we had some comments about where's Anthony Hill been? Where's Colin Simmons been? And I made the comment that if the guys just keep playing ball, eventually those playmakers start to move to different people, right? You saw that tonight with Kentucky. Kentucky had made the decision that first and second down, they were going to stick to the blocks with the defensive lineman. That frees up guys. Like you look at who's in the top of the tackles. You got Anthony Hill had 12 tackles, right? You got Taft, who comes down in the run game quite a bit, running free, right? Because these guys decided they're not going to get off the blocks. They got to handle the D-line in order to be successful. They had made that conscious decision from play one. You can see it play one. Okay? So the Anthony Hill deal, well, there's your deal. I mean, it's no different than what we saw 2 weeks ago when everybody made these comments. He still had 11 tackles 2 weeks ago against Florida, or whenever it was. Against Florida, he had 11 tackles, I think it was. Right? He only had one more tackle tonight. But it looked so much more dominant because of the way they came, right? And then you look at Colin Simmons. For whatever reason, Kentucky made the decision that they thought their five was going to be better than our front four. And they were wrong, because even though for the most part they dominated the game offensively, when it mattered late in the game, Colin Simmons was able to take over. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was like Burger King, man. He was having it his way out there, you know, and you might as well call him McDonald's, because he was loving it. All right, so he was able to get one-on-ones with whatever offensive tackle he wanted, and when those type of things start to happen is where I was talking about a few weeks ago. If you just give it time, you just keep chipping away, you keep chipping away. Next thing you know, you're the guy that has the hot hand. Why we've sat here and praised guys like Trey Moore and everything else like that. Trey Moore did not have a huge game tonight, but it shifted to Colin Simmons. And guess what?
He did.
Somebody's going to watch that tape tonight, and I guarantee you it's going to be Vanderbilt, and they're going to say, we got to take care of number one. All right? And if they do that, then guess who that frees up? Oh, man, all of a sudden Trey Moore's back in the game. Like, what's going on? That's the way defensive ball works, Rod. You know this as well as I do. When you get a DB that's just dominating the game, they say, we got to go away from this guy. And then all of a sudden, this guy starts getting picked. This guy starts getting PBUs. And that's the way defensive ball works. You know, I'll say it again. Mike Zimmer used to tell us all the time. You got to do your job so the guy next to you can have success doing his. And that works full circle no matter how you do it. So that's what you're starting to see. I think with a guy like Colin Simmons, a guy like Anthony Hill, I think Anthony Hill's been doing it. I don't know why people even think that was not the case, but Colin's been doing his job for the most part. He just hasn't gotten the benefits of it. Tonight, he was finally able to get the benefits of what he's been doing all season, to be honest with you.
Fair. I think that's all good stuff, Brian. Really do. All right. I want to take one pause before we get back to some more questions and discussion on this game. I want to say thank you again to Flight, the next generation of light beer. With only 95 calories, it's an easy drinking upscale light beer designed to elevate your taste buds with just 2.6 carbs per serving. Flight's an easy to drink beer with a clean, crisp taste. Try Flight from Yuengling. Thanks to the fine folks at Flight and our friends at Faust Distributing. We appreciate them very much. Also, thank you to our other game day sponsors, including Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof. Our friends over at Von Lane. Eliminate the stress in travel by Von Lane, as well as Tito's handmade vodka, the Longhorn official sponsors of the Texas Longhorns. Tito's handmade vodka. All right, here we go, guys. Some other comments that we have coming through that I think are good ones. Here it is. Real burnt. Oh, Rod, I'm going to let you. I feel like I've questioned the coaching a little bit tonight. So what about you, Rod? Do you think it was late? We lay this at Sark's feet, even though they won. So it's hard. That's I want to.
Well, Sark's listen. Sark wants this, right? Because Sark's not only the head coach, but he's also the offensive play caller. He's also the offensive play designer. It's his offense. It's his baby. All right. It's his calling card. It's his reputation. He's a quarterback guru, quarterback nurturer, and his quarterback right now is erratic, right? At best, he's inconsistent. Your offense right now doesn't have an offensive identity. So it's fair to criticize who is in charge of the offense. That's him. And so I think it's totally fair. And that late game clock management, to me, I mean, I said DeAndre Moore probably is a veteran player. He probably could have stayed in bounds, but I look at the play call, and like I said, that play call, go look at the design of it, guys. It's meant to get a guy out of bounds. Like, I don't even know why you would call that play. Like, don't even put it in. Don't even put it as an option for the guys out there. But either way, like I said, I didn't like, and I agree with Brian. I think some of the trick play early like that. I don't really understand that. That's kind of cringeworthy in my opinion. So I just think that right now, halfway through the season, as a coach, you have enough sample size to know what your team does well and what they don't do well. And I think it's clear Oklahoma. I think we all. What do we say coming out of Oklahoma? I think they may have found a little recipe.
All right, identity.
Yeah, a little formula, something that works, how they can win some games here. This is good. And we didn't see much of that in this game versus Kentucky at all offensively. And to Brian's point, remember we said that kind of reminded everybody of the Quinn Ewers offense. You know, they didn't take deep shots downfield, you know, got the ball out of his hands and tried to get it in rhythm. A lot of screens early on, a lot of easy completions for your quarterback. And yeah, we didn't see much of that type of offense. Now, maybe the offensive line just didn't allow you to execute that kind of offense. And that's a concern too. Right now, your offensive line is, I guess it's a problem, gentlemen. It's a problem. Like your offensive line is a problem. You can't, like, consistently, you cannot impose your will in the run game, and you're not a good pass blocking unit. There are too many liabilities on that line. There are too many leagues. There are too many places for me to attack. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm like, man, I got like 2-3 places I can attack this defensive line. I mean, it's offensive line with my defensive front. So that's why Arch is running for his life too. That's a big part of it. So
you mentioned that they played without Cole Hudson tonight too at center.
Yeah, of course.
And
right.
It looked like Nick Brooks. I mentioned that communication with Nick Brooks is key because you're playing a true freshman and calling protections, etc. That's a big deal. Juan Garza says, ugly win. I'll take it. So much more says rolling and bear clawing on Monday. Yes, I'll agree with that, but not for me. It's those other guys out there. Then we had play calling from Cade Stewart. Play calling was horrible. Sark needs to hire an OC tonight. Does he not trust the RBs at all? Putting Arch in impossible situations. A W is a W, though. The one thing I will say, I mean, Trey Wisner with 12 carries. Do you think that Sark just didn't want to go heavy run game tonight? I mean, it was Wisner beat up a little bit? I mean, what would cause you to go so far away from the run game after you had so much success last week?
I think that coupled with Christian Clark. I thought Christian Clark, for the 3 run plays he got, ran the ball really well.
Yeah,
that's about he's looked this year.
And then we didn't see him again.
Yeah,
yep. You're right. You look good.
All right, Lee Kistler. Offense is like my wife's car, no gas. Took him from Arkansas. Sark gave up on the run game. Hire an OC now. A guy, I promise a QB change makes this team better.
Wow.
Can I say something? Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Go ahead. Preach on it.
So this is one of those deals where I'm like, careful what you ask for, because this can have, if not just as much negative impact, possibly more. And I say that because you can look just as last year, the Georgia game. Everybody was like, get Quinn out, get Quinn out, get Quinn out. Arch has got to go in. And guess who went in? Arch. And it didn't look any better.
Yep.
It looked worse. And, you know, I hate to say, like, maybe that was the foresight of us seeing, like, what Arch really was at the time. Like, he was still very green. And I think that's part of what we're seeing is, like, Arch is still very green, but we are halfway through the season. You start to expect to see some sort of growth, right? But my point of this is, and I understand a lot of people are going to say, well, he's got the Manning name. He's not going to lose his position. But my rebuttal to that would be, if Sark truly believes, and this team truly believes, that Arch is the best quarterback on this team, when you remove that from the situation and it doesn't work out, not only have you shown that it's not any better, but now you've also knocked Arch's confidence down even more.
Man.
And that to me is a twofold problem that could be extremely detrimental, not only to Arch, but to this Texas football team. So I want to leave that out there and just kind of say, hey, for some of these people that want that to be done, just be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. He's right.
Brandy Huey, who would have picked Miami or Tech to lose? Every week is different. OU ran all over South Carolina today. Everyone said they were cooked. Survive and advance.
Okay.
I want to say this is Rod B. That's
I'll say this to Brandon's point because I think he's right, Bobby. There is something happening right now in college football, and I think NIL has a lot to do with it. Transfer portal, and now with revenue sharing, there's a real NFL any given Sunday feel to this thing.
Preach, Rod, preach.
Right, where the great teams aren't as great and the bad teams aren't as bad. And now there's more parity where we're meeting in the middle, and there's an any given the NFL. Go leave the NFL, and Brian knows this because he played for a decade plus. Do you go out there on any given Sunday, and literally it could be a team with 2 wins, and you could be a team with 10 wins, and they'll come out there, and you can end up getting whipped and go, I don't know what happened. Like, what the hell just happened out here? That it has more of that feel. Like I do feel like college football is getting there. And I think we're just on the brink of it, which means, and now you have a playoff though, too, like the NFL. So you ain't got to just be the perfect team all year long. You ain't got to be the great team all year long. You just got to be the best team at the right time. You got to be the hot team at the right time. You want to peak at the right time with the playoff. So fans got to change their mindset too. Well, most college football fans have had this, but blue blood fans have to change their mindset about, man, 1 loss, and that's the end of the season, or 2 losses. It's like, actually, not anymore. It's going to be a lot more parity. Even Sark said it. Sark tried to warn us. He said, ain't going to be no undefeated national champions, just so y'all know. He was trying to say, we might be a 2-3 loss playoff team, guys. That's what he really wanted to say. Just so many of y'all off. But I just think that's what we're dealing with, man. I think it's changing the game. Tech paid for that roster. That roster was pretty. And that roster still got beat by Arizona State. How much Arizona State roster cost? How much y'all think? Compared to
1/4 of whatever Texas Tech does.
Any given Saturday.
It's like that desert. That money dried up.
Hey, I want to say this. The Kentucky basketball team costs more than the Kentucky football team. So
no doubt.
On the same foot, Texas has a roster that's highly paid compared to Kentucky football. I can tell you that much. 4 times at least.
It's funny. I was having that conversation today, and I swear, Rod, you just took you must have had my phone bugged because I was having that same conversation. Like the parity of college football is as tight as it's ever been, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why Diego Pavia confident about going into Austin next week. He's like, oh, I think we got this. He feels good about it.
Yeah.
All right, this one from Forrest Eldridge. 5 fumbles, 0 recoveries. We talked about it. Texas won this game with only 8 first downs compared to 26 for the folks at the Kentucky. 5 fumbles for Kentucky. The other thing, one of the reasons Texas did win this game, not just special teams, 0 turnovers for the Longhorns.
Damn. That's right. Damn. That's crazy. Oh, Bobby, you got muted somehow.
You can say what you want about Arch all you want. He's taking care of the football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he is taking care of the football. Equine Shadows, excuse me. Special teams and defense kept us in it. That goal line stand in OT and the dagger by Shipley sealed it. Dang it. If only the offense could give us something. We agree there. Mr. All I Do Is Win. We have to grow up on the offensive line. Brian was talking about that. Juan Garza, I love that Joey the Mouth McGuire lost over in Lubbock. And then I want to go here. Pinkerton's Barbecue, one of our friends, Grant Pinkerton owns Pinkerton's Barbecue. Great.
God dang, I just got hungry too.
Great barbecue.
I bet Grant will take care of you, Brian. All you have to do is ask. We were developing an identity on offense last week, something we could build on. we went back to a dry well. We don't make anything easy on ourselves. What he's saying there is a little bit of what I said. I mean, I felt like they found an identity and they abandoned it in the first quarter. They had 3 10-plus play drives against OU.
3 of them.
We didn't see any hunting and pecking tonight. We saw going deep, trick play. We saw. I mean,
and Bobby, that raises another question. Maybe the identity we built last week is not the identity they want to have.
See, now that upsets me at the halfway point of the season if that is the case, because the old quote, Ray Horton gave it to me. Speaking of the NFL, Ray Horton, old DB coach in the NFL, I always say, football and life are constant struggles deciding between what you want to be in order to thrive and what you need to be in order to survive. We are done with what Sark wanted Arch to be. We all had a vision. We all had our visions for Arch and what he was going to be and what the offense is going to be. We're past that point now. We're past the midway point of the season. We're past what you want it to be. Now it's about what you need to be in order to win games and survive. So I agree with you, Brian, but that would be extremely stubborn if that's the case. And now you got a sample size of what you do well against Ohio State, against Florida, against Oklahoma, against really good teams. Not all really good, but good talent and good teams too. So that would be upsetting.
Well, and I would say even add on top of that is maybe what you need to be is what you can't be, because
oh damn, that's deep.
So and where I'm going with this is I don't know if they can build a true identity. I don't know if we can honestly say what we saw last week in the second half of Oklahoma is what they're building an identity on, because what I saw tonight was, when you look at it overall, for the most part, I felt like the discipline was better, but in critical situations, the discipline issue became an issue again. When you look at overtime, there was the very first penalty. I mean, dude, you can't have that. You almost forced your field goal kicker out of field goal range. I mean,
I thought that was a poor play call too, by the way.
I agree with you.
Give up 5 yards because if he gets tackled for a loss there, you don't.
Yep. I mean, and I don't want to get too deep into this whole Aristotle deal I got going on, but my point to this is I don't think one half of football builds an identity. I don't think, and that's the issue for me, is it has to be put on. If I'm being honest with you, right now, Texas's identity is they struggle on offense. They can be really good on defense. And if the special team's hitting on all cylinders, they're going to win dirty football games. Who else does that remind you of a little bit?
I don't know.
Probably, I would say the opposite of Vanderbilt. You give their offense the ball, they can make plays. Their defense does just enough to survive. And if you allow them to make a play or two on special teams, they're going to win a football game. And to me, the difference is when you look at it, once again, Rod, you said it, it's a blue blood versus a non-blue blood. Mm-hmm. Their fan base is up here.
Yeah.
Our fan base is down here.
That's true.
And so, I'm not going to try to go too deep into this, but my point to it is one half of football does not give us an identity. They're going to have to figure out how to duplicate that over and over again before they figure out what their true identity is. And right now, their identity, if I'm putting it on one thing, is undisciplined and not being able to execute.
Yeah. Tough stuff. He also had this to say: we're not close enough to efficient enough on offense. We are far too reliant on explosives to generate offense. We need to make life easier on our players. I agree with that 100%. That's one of the things I was talking about. Thank you, Grant, for those. Greg from Grimes County, thank you for the super chat as well. Chris P. Bacon, 23 to 24 to 25. This team is worse each year. Do we have a
No.
problem? I have a hard time believing.
Not worse every year. Now,
Yeah.
not the team's not worse every year. I mean, you got to the Final Four and back-to-back years, so you can't say that. What is problematic, though, I will agree, is that your offense has taken such a precipitous drop off a cliff in terms of their ability to generate explosive plays and your ability to have an identity. Which people say, what's an identity? Identity is what you do really well, what you do as well, if not better than everybody else. Like what you can hang your hat on. Like, no, we do this better than anybody else, baby. We hang our hat on this. Like, you cannot tell me what this Texas team does well. Nobody can. I've asked so many people who follow the team, what's the offense do really well? And everybody goes, I'm not sure what they do well. That's a problem, guys. We're halfway through the season. We should know what they do well.
They keep Texas in the ball game. Not necessarily in a positive way.
Somebody says punt. No way. That's an identity. And that's why I said so. And that's why Brian's right. You can't, from that Oklahoma game, even though we would love to, that's not the recipe for formulating an identity. But 6 games, looking at what you have done well, take away the Sam Houston State and San Jose State and UTEP, I guess, and just look at the Ohio State, the Florida, and obviously against Oklahoma. You did a lot well in those games when you combine. You got to figure that out now, and you need to isolate those concepts. And you need to build an offense around those concepts. A lot of people say, Robbie, why are you always talking about targets to motion? And why are you always talking about targets too much? Because that works. Do more of it. Like, what are we doing? Why are we straying away from those concepts? They work. So that's how you build an identity, guys, at this point. You take everything that works, and then you just keep doing. That's what they did last year. Last year, they just outside. That's why they ran the outside zone 60% of the time. Because it's what worked for them over and over. So you can't tell me they don't, that's not one or two things they can't find that work for them. And that's what I want to start to do more of. And that's why I'm upset. Because I think he uses those things sparingly. And I'm like, to hell with sparingly at this point. We're halfway through the season. I need you to inundate and I need you to bake in those concepts in almost every play. Like, find out what works and do it over and over and over again. That's what I want.
Hey, Rod, did you notice they went to two running backs tonight at one point? They did. Back at one point with Ryan Niblett.
But they came predictable, and everybody knows Niblett's getting the ball when the Niblett package happens. It's like, come on, man.
Hey, Texas T-shirt. Sark has figured out he's not a guru, and the way he has this unlimited leash for his QBs needs to be studied. I'm out on him. Cisco Diaz. Quinn made the checks at the line that Arch doesn't. Any truth to that? Maybe. I don't know. That's a good point. We don't know that. Yep. Syrup Sailor, very lenient analysis. Texas O is unfathomably bad. If you've just picked up in the last 30 or 45 minutes, one of the things I said, the last time a Texas offense had less than 200 yards of total offense,
crazy.
The very next day, the offense coordinator was fired by Charlie Strong. It was Sean Watson. So I don't know. I don't know that that's lenient. So I don't know how else to put it other than in black and white terms like that. Bevo 2420, is Arch Wingo the worst QB wide receiver chemistry you've seen? Seems like almost every pass to Wingo's at his feet, thrown behind or overthrown. Arch went on a bad streak. Went on a bad streak. It almost felt like after that short pass to Wingo kind of sailed on the crosser, Arch went in the tank a little bit. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
But he lost
up here.
Another wasted elite defense. They're 5-2 guys. Let them keep going here. They're not wasted. We got to just hopefully we see a better offense going forward. Really missing a solid dual threat TE right now. Gunnar Helm was a fantastic escape valve for Ewers passes last year.
I like the tight ends.
What's that?
I like the tight ends, actually. I think
they had some problems blocking tonight.
Yes. No, you're right. No, I agree with that. I'm talking more in the passing game. You're right. Blocking, they got problems overall in run blocking. But in terms of receiving tight end, I mean, I do think Kentucky did a better job utilizing their tight ends than Texas did.
Absolutely.
Texas tight ends they have weapons at the tight end position, guys. They're probably deeper at tight end they've been a really long time on the 4 acres. Like, I'm talking about decades.
And I would say this too, man. Like since we're talking about all these different positions, I don't know that this offense is as talented as what they've had the last 2 years.
No,
I don't even know why I'm saying I don't know. They're not as talented as they've been the last 2 years. I mean, when you go back to 2023, you're talking. I mean, just look at the wide receivers they had. Look at Jatavion Sanders as the tight end. Jatavion could block just as well as he could catch passes. So Quinn had all those weapons around him. Your offensive line was probably the worst part about that team. And they were still really good. You look at last year, with Adonai Mitchell, and you look at all those guys that were there, Xavier Worthy. Then you go to last year, and you've got Isaiah Bond. You've got, what's the running back? Keelan Robinson. You've got, the starting one. I'm losing names now, but you see where I'm going with it.
Yeah, bro.
You had a plethora of wide receivers. You had Golden. You had all these names over the last 2 years that then they go to the combine and you realize exactly how special they were.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Texas does not have good players on their offense right now, but to compare them to those guys, they're not them. They might get to them, but they're not there right now. And so even like a guy like Wingo was honestly probably I would be third or fourth guy last year. And now he's thrust it into needing to be the number one guy. And I agree with the comment that was just made a second ago. The chemistry is not there right now for whatever reason. It's not there. And that to me down the stretch is going to be a telltale sign on if they can build that chemistry, because once again, we're halfway through the season. If that chemistry was going to be built, it should have been built already.
Yeah. To that point, Brian, did Parker Livingston have a target in the game?
Yes, but it hit his hands. And then he also rolled out. Arch was getting out of the pocket and threw over the middle. And
I remember that one. The guy had the coverage on him. He thought he got pulled. He thought he got he tried to complain about it. Yeah,
he got held. But to your point, though, Rod, it not enough time probably from a target. Maybe Emmett Mosley took some of those. Brian Church, how bad must the RB room perform in practice for Sark to not give anyone carries but Wisner? Wisner is a warrior, but he's not an every down back. We talked a little bit about that earlier. He only had 12 carries tonight, and Christian Clark only had 3. So unless you include Ryan Niblett and his 1 carry, that's only 16 carries for running backs tonight. That's just not enough. Roy Womack, hot take, respectfully, Sark and staff got Caldwell in the portal because they knew Arch may not be the guy. That's not the case. They wanted a backup because maybe they didn't feel comfortable with having right now what would be a true freshman there at backup quarterback, because he has bypassed Trey Owens. Trey Owens did not travel with the team this week. Greg in Grimes County. Team is void of leadership at head coach. Need to hire a head coach and let Sark remain OC. Even that is not a good spot to be in.
So
I don't think Sark's going to take the demotion. He'll take his $10 million a year and walk if he gets asked to do that. What do you think, Ryan?
So I don't necessarily agree with that comment, but that comment actually brings up a very great point. Who's the leader on this offense?
It's both. I think Trey Wisner is supposed to be one of the leaders on the offense. I know that.
Yeah, should be.
And DeAndre.
But my point to this: if you're not utilizing him, right, how can he be the leader?
Yeah,
that's true.
If you really look at it, just look at tonight's game. Who was the leader on the offense tonight?
Arch Manning. Wasn't he?
I mean,
he's got to be.
I guess, but I feel like we're throwing darts at a dartboard. I feel like when I watch the game tonight, I don't see anybody leading that offense. Like, whereas I look at defense, I can call out multiple leaders that I saw tonight. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like on special teams, like I could say that Niblett was a leader on special teams tonight. I could say that the kicker was a leader on offense tonight. I could say the punter was a leader on offense tonight. I mean, special teams tonight. But when I look at the offense, I'm like, who's going to be the guy that everybody looks at right now? I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. If I'm being honest, like Wisner would be that guy, but I don't know, man. Somebody's got to step up, and I don't know. I know it's cliche to say players meeting and all this other stuff, but at some point, somebody's got to get a players meeting going and say, "Hey, we got to turn this, you know what, around."
I would say, I think you've got a lot of points that are positive there in that they are in search of an identity, and part of that search is searching for a leader.
I agree. I think those two are intertangled.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's hear now from Steve Sarkisian and his post-game press conference. Matt, our producer, please let's hear what Sark has to say.
A year, you have a culture win where the game's not pretty, but the team, because the team is so close, finds a way to win the game. And tonight, these guys found a way to win when the game was sliding in the wrong direction. So absolute credit to our defense. What a tremendous goal line stand in overtime. What a tremendous job by our special teams. Mason, Jack, Ryan Niblett, that punt return unit, to the way they played in that phase of the game. And so all in all, like, as I told the team, half the SEC lost today, and we were on the other half that won. And so and we got plenty of work to do, but man, what a win. I've said this all along. You go on the road at night in the SEC, this league is tough. It's hard. And for us to find a way to win this game tonight, very happy about that.
Ultimately, you got to win the tough ones, not just the easy ones. They did show some resolve at the end and execute when they needed to, particularly on defense and stopping on the 4th and goal. And 3 shots inside the 2 for Kentucky as well. But overall, a lackluster performance on offense is really what punctuated this game, I think, in my mind. Less than 200 yards total offense for the Longhorns. Guy says, C.J. Baxter's girl played and won a national championship with a torn ACL. Dude has been out with what seems like 2 years. It was not a hamstring last year.
Come on,
but look, I mean, C.J. Baxter, hopefully he gets an opportunity. He did see some practice time this past week.
They need him.
Hopefully he's moving forward. Zane Petty, we have a right tackle, left guard, and center problem. Connor Robertson did not have a very good game tonight. He was the replacement for Cole Hudson. There's a reason Cole Hudson was a starter. And a lot of people are like, oh, Cole Hudson wasn't good. You know, they want to go to the next guy. How are we going to do this next? That's what I would tell you. And Brian was talking about it at quarterback. Be careful what you wish for sometimes, because the backup isn't necessarily better. He's just the backup. It was ugly, but Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU, Miami, Texas Tech would all change spots with us and take an ugly OT win against Kentucky. Hook 'em from Blake. There's some truth in that. Travis Johnson. When do we talk about Flood? Because he also hasn't missed the top tackles in the state the past 2 years in recruiting. You know, I think there's some validity in the idea that they haven't hit on guys, elite guys at offensive tackle that they wanted. At the same time, I don't know that Trevor Gooseby was highly recruited, and I think he's going to end up being a first rounder. So I think that highly recruited and all this other stuff, it's about how you play. Brandon Baker actually had a decent game until overtime when he got called. Our O-line made their D look like the 85 Bears. The open misses by Arch are continuing and killing us. when we're going to get blown off the field by Vandy, Georgia, and A&M playing this way, the slow starts also kill us.
Well, you also
I agree with him. The slow starts can't continue.
Well, I think that's why the trick play came early too, because Sark's a little insecure about them slow starts, and he wanted to start with a bang, and then you get the cringe-worthy play. But Bobby, to the point about what the person in the chat said, you don't know what you're gonna get offensively. Like against the best third down defense in the country, Texas went there and had their way on third down with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right? One of the best D lines, the team that led the country in sacks. Texas allowed just one. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about this. I don't know what I'm going to get from week to week with this Texas offense. I have no idea. I don't think we do at this point. Like, the Texas defense, they're consistent, and I think we know week to week at least what you're going to get. Special teams, I think we know what we're going to get from special teams, and both of those are assets. The problem is with offense, you don't know what you're going to get. If you get an offense that can move the ball and make some plays, they put together 3 double-digit play drives against Oklahoma. That's the problem, is that we know what they're capable of. They're just not executing and achieving that. Nick Saban calls it the capability gap. He said, talk about potential. It's what they're capable of and actually what their output is. And right now, we know what they're capable of, but they don't put that out every week. So going back to Brian, we got 2 theories we're tossing around here. Either they don't have the weapons on offense, period, that they've had in the past, or they got the weapons and they're inexperienced and they're just not developed yet. And they're going to develop them. So I'm going to go with the latter because I've seen this coaching staff develop players. So I know they can develop talent. So I'll go with the latter and just say on offense, they're inexperienced, they're young. And what you get with young players, you get the roller coaster. One week they look great. Next week, you don't know what the hell you're going to get, because young players don't have a baseline of consistency. That's what they lack. And that's why coaches like players they can trust. How do they gain trust? Consistency. Baseline. I know what he's going to do every week. I know that guy's going to do. I know what he's going to do. And that's why offense, you don't know what you're going to get week to week because they're young and inexperienced. I'm hoping that's the case and not what obviously the other theory is that they just don't have the players. And if you spent $40 million, whatever the hell you spent in the NIL era on players and you missed on them and this is what you got, then that's a huge problem. I'm going to say that ain't it. I'm going to say they're inexperienced and young, and this is what you're going to get for the rest of the season, unfortunately, guys, because we're halfway through it. Why I expect them to figure it out all of a sudden overnight. They're not, guys. They're going to be like this all year, up and down. This is what they are.
How many yards do y'all think they left on the field tonight with poor passes?
A lot more than they had. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, let's just say we're not talking about any like crazy runs, breaking tackles, anything like that. They lost at least. I mean, just on the probably 3 or 4 throws that I can think of, I'm going to say 60 yards.
Yeah, I was thinking 60 to 75.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because a couple of them were just the Mosley pass was bad. The pass to Wingo.
Injuries had one.
Injuries that would have been what, 25 yards.
Easy. It was nobody around him.
Yeah. Maybe more, Brian. Maybe more. Master Sparky did not like Steve Sarkisian's post-game comment. Sark is acting like we just beat Prime Georgia. Feed us some more, Sark. Good God, it's freaking Kentucky. Like I said, go ahead, Brian. You had something?
Well, speaking of Georgia, let's not forget that Georgia struggled last year in Kentucky as well.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
So, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The parity in college football right now is more of a survive and get to the playoff. That's what college football is right now, because at the end of the year, nobody's going to look at it and be like, well, you're undefeated, but you beat every team by 3 points in overtime. No, if somebody's undefeated, like beat everybody by 3 points in overtime, they're pretty dang good. You look at all the teams that have been upset. Let's just say the last 2 weeks, all the teams that have been upset. I mean, nobody thought that was going to happen. But yet we've gotten so accustomed to all these schools that have been in the top 25 that we're so accustomed to the years before where it was just an anomaly if a top 10 team got beat. Now it's happening like every other weekend a top 10 team gets beat or multiple.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, dude, I hate to bring up the other school down the road, but A&M struggled with Arkansas today.
Arkansas's offense is tough.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so my point is like, it's no longer any given Sunday. We're going to have to make a new movie. It's going to be any given Saturday.
Somebody, I like it. Someone, RJ said, someone said it earlier, but we should hire Bobby Petrino as OC.
Here we go. Is the Manning hype and publicity getting to Sark and this team? I don't know if it's just Manning, but I would say this, Slick Rick. I think the expectations are weighing on them.
That's good.
People, when you go to a place like Kentucky, people, some of us on this channel were like, "Hey, it's going to be 28-3 or 28-7 or 10 or what." Some of those, you get some of those. It does get to you because I'm not as good as I think I am, and then it just keeps happening again and again. It's not just the Manning hype. I think it may be the hype overall of the team. Everybody thinking they should be beating Kentucky, 27-3, and maybe they should be. But that can get to you and feed a bad cycle, in my opinion. If we only had Shipley last year, we would have hoisted a trophy, and this crap wouldn't feel as bad. That is true.
That is true.
Mason Shipley was absolute nails tonight. I hate to say this, but Sark is who is holding this team back. That trick play told where this game was headed. He did. He tried to outsmart the Stoops, instead of just going and trying to play his best versus their best. Like, to your point, guys, when he said, "Hey, he has predetermined reads," he's trying to outsmart some guys when he does that. Anyway, Kate Stewart, I pray this isn't true, but this team is starting to feel a lot like a Herman team, only in the sense we played our competition and undisciplined.
Oh, I hope that's not true, but he makes a good point about that, about playing the competition. Yeah. That's true. I mean, Ohio State, that's maybe the best team in the country, and you played a bad game offensively and still was in that damn game. And Florida was a bad team coming in, and then you played to I would say, really low level of low standard in that game as well. And Oklahoma won. Did Oklahoma win? I even followed.
Oh yeah, they beat the tar out of. Somebody was talking about. You were talking earlier about third down defense for OU. Being so good, Rod. Yeah. At one point, South Carolina was 0 for 10 on third down against OU.
That's what I'm saying. That team looks like they're going to end up being a decent team. Now they got a hell of a schedule, so I don't know. But we'll see. But that team at the time Texas played them, that was one of the better teams in the country, and you played at a high level. So I that's a great point, Kate. I hope you are not right, but you may be onto something. Tom Herman's teams notoriously did that. It was terrible. Maryland, sad. Beating Georgia.
Yeah. Bobby, what happened to our pancake factory? These dudes are so soft. We should change it to pudding factory. Look, they're young.
Oh my God! Hold on, time out. Are we gonna have a nickname for the O line called the Snack Pack?
No, that was great. The pudding factory.
Oh my goodness.
The second half of OU may not be our identity, but moving away from it worked. 6 carries in the first half makes no sense. So this is a stat that our producer Matt sent to me. Explain this, because Matt was a little hot under the collar about the offensive play calling today. Weisner had 2 carries in the first quarter and didn't get another until the opening second half drive.
Oh, damn, Matt. I wish you.
I noticed that.
Only
other 3 carries in the first half were all from
Christian Clark. I remember those. Yeah, it's one Brian brought up. They were good. They were good carries too. They were pretty good.
Yep.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Corey, man, I can't comprehend how we come off of OU looking like this pathetic. There's a coaching locker room issue. We're also missing a team leader.
Wow.
Look, I will ask you guys both this because y'all played. Coming off the OU game, now Mac Brown is a little bit different because he didn't always focus on the OU game necessarily as much as some people wanted to. But is it tough coming off of a big emotional game like they had last week and a big win, and then going immediately on the road in a tough atmosphere? What any thoughts or any truth to that as far as how Texas performed after an OU game that took a lot out of them, maybe?
I say this, and this is something that I brought up last week, or at least earlier this week, talking about this game. I am wondering how this team handles success. Because the preseason was all success for Texas. Everything was hype.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything. Arch was going to win the Heisman, be the #1 overall pick, #1 team in the country for the first time in the preseason in the history of the program. It was just Texas #1. They're going to be in the playoff. It's like, so basically you won the offseason. They didn't want it. It's not their fault, but psychologically they couldn't help but see it. Right? You can't ignore how much hype Texas got in the offseason. So you won offseason, and you went to your Ohio State game, and it's like, the offense is kind of dead. Now, I'm not talking about the defense here. I'm more talking about the offense here overall, because defense, they're a separate conversation, and they've done well, and so are special teams. But I'm more about how the offense handles success. And then, remember, after the Sam Houston State game, everybody's like, yay, Arch did it. He's great again. He's awesome. See, this is what we told you. Told you he's going to be really good. And then the offense, as overall, the whole team, by the way, has a dud in the Florida game. And then they come back at Oklahoma game, fight like hell. Because they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, and you know how that goes, Brian. You get the locker room, everybody's galvanized, like, now we're going to work this week. And they went to work. And then the success of the Oklahoma game, yeah, they won this week, but they built on that win? Did they build on it? Offensively, no. Defensively, yes. Special teams, yes. But offensively, there's a disconnect. Something's off.
I think Grant Pinkerton hit on exactly what I was trying to say. I think Sark went big game hunting when he should just be going hunting and pecking and going fishing for first downs and just trying to move the sticks. And this team is not ready for that yet. The offensive line can't hold up to that yet.
Yeah.
In particular, it's not even about the quarterback at that level.
Anyway. Texas has got to play more like Kentucky played tonight. They clearly had the thought process that they were going to establish the run and they were going to control the game clock and keep the ball out of our offense's hands.
Yes.
And Texas has to learn to play that way.
Brian. That's what Texas did against OU.
Yeah. But Sark don't like to win that way, though, just so y'all know. That's not how Sark likes to win. That ain't pretty. He wants it to be pretty. Y'all know that. Y'all know y'all. That's like y'all don't know y'all coach by now.
So what you're saying, Ryan, is we know our identity, but that's not what we want it to be.
All right. I don't think Livingston had a target. He did actually have one.
Yeah.
A couple guys trying to make a joke here. Is Sark using Chat GPT? is James Franklin is available?
No.
Did they lose to Iowa?
They lost again today. They lost again today.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
They were up too.
Yeah. I'll take Sark.
It's teams there's teams ABC 5 Def. There's teams that would love Texas's talent on offense. I'm starting to wonder about Sark's genius status. We've talked a little bit about that. Guy, what Sark just said is the garbage Tom Herman used to say. It did sound like coach speak. No doubt about it. Mr. Sparky called it out too. How do y'all think Sark is coaching Arch when he's missing these easy ones?
Yeah, so that's not on guys.
That's the problem that you have. And my problem with it so far for Arch is that he lets one become two become three. And he goes down he circles the drain a little.
Yeah.
When he misses an easy one.
Spiraling.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But that to that point though, that's the head coach's play caller's job when he starts spiraling to go, let me give him some easy completions here. Let me give him some easy throws to get him in the rhythm. Let me just give him a layup or two here to get his confidence.
Where was the DeAndre Moore? Where was the DeAndre Moore play when it was 1st and 10 from the 30?
Yes.
As opposed to last minute.
Yes. Agreed.
Field. So recruiting doesn't matter. That's not what I said earlier. It does. And I say this and trying to say it the right way. I don't know that you would have said the last 2 years that guy would necessarily be starting. And Brandon Baker was a 4 or a 5-star. He's only a true sophomore. He's a true sophomore, redshirt freshman. So recruiting definitely matters. They missed on some in that 2022 class. The only one that's looking like they're going to play right now is Trevor Gooseby. So just realize that may be one that hurt them. Field is the 22 class of offensive linemen. Hawaii Love. This game was more about Arch than the coaching staff. Yes, our OL is poor, but Cutter Boley was sacked 5 times and went 31-37. Our QB1 is mid, is SEC mid. He may be. I think Kentucky called a game more conducive to higher stats from Cutter Boley, though.
Agreed.
That's what we've said.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, their longest play from scrimmage tonight was 21 yards.
Came in overtime, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As awful of a team that we currently are at the moment, we are still in the hunt for the SEC. I'll take it. That's from Sean. A lot of people there agreeing. Anyone remember Arch's first game? Ugly. I was there. It wasn't ugly. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't ugly. Mark Sewells. How can an offense be so bad? We are so bad on offense. It's almost like they aren't even trying. It's only a matter of time until PK's defense gets tired. Brian,
now, that is true. You will be exposed at one point.
That's what I was going to ask y'all. You and Brian.
Yeah.
You leave a defense out there.
Yeah.
For 40 minutes of the 60-minute game. At what point does it just, you lose the ability to be that guy? To 86 plays. It felt like a Texas Tech game for y'all.
No, remember that Arizona State game like that? Wasn't the Arizona State game like that?
Yeah.
It just wore you out defensively. And at the end, Texas, they won the game, but we all know that defense started deteriorating. They was on the field too much.
Yep. Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, when you're out there, especially with the offense that they were running tonight, I'm surprised it didn't happen. And that's a hats off to them, because 86 plays, 39 minutes time of possession. I mean, how many 7+ minute drives did they have today?
Oh.
And didn't come up with points. I mean, dude, that's manning up. That's the definition of manning up. If I'm being 100% honest with you, let's see what we got here. We got a 6:06. We got 8:44, 5:43. I mean, dude.
6.
Yeah. They played bend but don't break, and then they got after them a little bit in the second half. But by that time, the Texas defense was they were clearly tired, even though they rotate heavily. I mean, gosh, if they didn't rotate heavily, how tired would they have been?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. A couple other good, trying to be funny. NASCAR package. Our OL is the Nabisco package. The OL has struggled. The body. Here's what he says. The body types look different and the movement patterns look stiff. Do the current issues date back to strength and conditioning? It's perplexing. They were young, man. I still think they're young. There still is not a Kelvin Banks out there. Even though I think that like Trevor Goosey's a more prototypical offensive tackle in the NFL. And I mean that he's that long arm guy that's just kind of shield. He's not, they're different. He's not Kelvin Banks, So, Sark, not the guru people say we need from Tyler Beavers. We need an OC. Arch should get the routes Boley got. That guy is trash. I don't know that I thought Boley played well. I thought he played his guts out. All right. Before we let folks go, I want to say I've got one more question, and it's about the next game for both of you guys. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, our post-game sponsor, as always, the friends over at Flight, the beer of choice for us here at On Texas Football in the post-game show. Flight's the next generation of light beer with only 95 calories. It's an easy drinking upscale light beer designed to elevate your taste buds with just 2.6 carbs per serving. Flight's an easy-to-drink beer with clean, crisp taste. Try Flight from Yingling. Thanks to the fine folks at Flight and our friends at Faust Distributing. All right, here's the question, and I'm trying to find it now. Matt, our producer, it is the one that talks about Mississippi State. I'm trying to find it right now. Matt, if you could help me find that, man. Oh, here it is. Kyle Witherspoon had it. What are y'all's thoughts about next week? Mississippi State is going to be a tougher road task. They're going to score points. I don't know how many, but they're going to score points. How bend but don't break is exactly what Mississippi State wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's that type of offense. They want you to bend but don't break so they can control the clock and squeeze it out of you. Any thoughts from you guys about Mississippi State versus Texas? And what does Texas do on offense in that game?
I mean, I haven't watched enough of Mississippi State to really make an educated decision on it, but just from what I have seen, I go back to the same thing about college football right now. It's going to depend on what team shows up Saturday. And I say that because you're right. Mississippi State has improved exponentially on offense compared to where they were last year. Mm-hmm. But I still think this defense of Texas, I think they're going to be able to get after them. The question is going to be, which the question has been, what's the offense going to do? And that's where I think Texas is going to have to learn, just like they did from the Florida game to the OU game, from the OU game to tonight. They're going to have to learn from tonight going into that game. They're going to have to learn how they can control the clock. Because if they allow Mississippi State to do what Kentucky did tonight, if you're asking for trouble, because now that will have been 2 weeks in a row that you left your defense out there trying to control the game. And at some point, like we're talking about, you just got done with an 86-play game. You start creeping up into that 60, 70 plays next week.
Oh, yeah.
It starts to wear on you. And so I think offense is going to have to learn how they can control the tempo of the game and try to give their defense breaks. And I'm not even saying they necessarily have to run a 12-play drive. But if you can keep their offense off the field for 5-6 minutes and be able to give your defense just some sort of rest and hold their plays down to, 50 plays or 45 plays, something in that lower realm of plays, that helps your defense tremendously. And it also helps you by being able to control the tempo of the game versus letting what Kentucky did. They controlled the tempo of the game tonight.
Yeah, he did.
And luckily your defense was just able to stand up and make enough plays to have those drives stall out. And if that doesn't happen next week, if you try to go gamble that and do that next week, it's not going to be pretty.
You can't play 80-plus plays consecutive weeks, man. I mean, that's not the recipe. A couple more comments coming in. Thoughts on NASCAR for the entire final drive of the game. Defense was great, but it was interesting with quotation marks. Were they in NASCAR
I believe they did. You talking about on the to end the regulation?
Yeah.
I do believe they were in NASCAR on those drives, but I can't confirm. But I believe they were. It makes sense situationally. But like I said, that man, the scramble quarterback and the scramble drill, man. That's what I would say for Texas. That's arguably their best offensive concept. It's defending 3 plays in one. No defense is great at stopping the scramble drill for a great scrambling quarterback. It is the best cheat code in football. I've been saying that for the last couple of years at NFL or college level. And you see what it did to Texas with Sam Levitt. You see what it did. You can get a quarterback that can scramble at the right time. What Arch does, it's really effective.
Yep.
But look at the Vanderbilt game today. That was the difference in the ball game.
I'm telling you, man. It's every league. Go look at every game. It don't matter, man. If you get a quarterback that can scramble when the play breaks down, it's a holy F moment for every defensive coordinator out there.
Yep. Couple more comments. Do we miss Coach Choice? Not as an RB coach. This is Tashard Choice, but as a hype man.
Oh, that's good.
Have no juice on the sidelines.
That's good. That is good. That is good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's good. Because Bo Davis was kind of a guy like that too. He's a juice guy, right? It's when you got the whole team got cussed out on the bus after Iowa State, right? That's interesting. Interesting.
All right, we got to keep going here and get the finish these out here. Taylor Johnson, our coaches watch other teams that were successful and say, "Nah, we're going to do the opposite."
Oh man, I don't think so. I will say this about the Mississippi State game, though. One of the things that you need to have to give Texas defense problems is a big physical back. Mississippi State got a big physical back.
Yep,
that's right. He about 225, something like that.
Good. I think they got 2 right now.
Yeah, that's one of the ingredients you need to give Texas defense a little issues. You're just a physical back that can just get them physical downhill yards against them big D tackles. They had one, Kentucky, and Florida had one. Mississippi State got one.
Hey, shout out! You just mentioned big defensive tackles. Shout out to Travis Shaw tonight.
Oh yeah, well done.
Yeah, that's not a name that we've mentioned yet. Shout out to him. Dad tired. We're going to close on this one, though, because I think it's apropos. We just got Sark to kick. Next is running.
That is true, though. Oklahoma game, he was kicking too. Taking it apart. There you go.
Piece by piece, Dad tired. Piece by piece. All right, guys, we've got to get going. 16-13, the Longhorns beat the Kentucky Wildcats. It was not the offensive performance many teams wanted. But lo and behold, Texas did escape with a victory after a goal line stand in overtime and a Mason Shipley field goal. Longhorns win 16-13 in the ugliest way possible. But like I said, guys, I think they avoided the Kansas in this scenario. So, hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you to Brian Robeson. Thank you to Rod Babers. Thank you to Matt Hutchison, our producer behind the scenes. And thank you also to our sponsor, Yingling and Flight by Yingling. As well as our game day sponsors, Tito's Handmade Vodka, as well as Hargrove, Know Who's on Your Roof, and our friends over at Vaughn Lane as well. You guys have a good night. We'll have more for you guys tomorrow. Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.